right, we are back. Tech Packs are due. The only footwear podcast ever. The only one that matters anyway. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, we're back, and we are excited for today's episode. Before I get into it, I feel the need to. I saw this. I think Skippy. I think you posted this thing. Tyler, the creator, saying like, "Hey, if you don't like your work, you should be pitching your work all the time. Like pitch it. He's like, that's why I'm still talking about the album that I released like 5 months ago. Like I'm telling it to everybody. So we got a merch store. This is a nice shirt. Okay. Now I wouldn't have told anyone to buy our stuff before getting the shirt in house because I was not sure, but it's really nice. And actually I've worn it quite a bit. I'm keeping it nice so I can take pictures, like real pictures of it for the site, but pretty good. There, if you want to have a roomy fit, go up a size. But if you like a little true to fit, little snug, like take your regular size. But we got the mug in house, pretty nice. It holds my pens. It is just a standard mug. I mean, there's nothing great there. And same with the hat. I've actually been wearing it, and I don't have it here. But so check out the merch store. Grab the brush pack. Whatever you're gonna do. I'll let everybody know we have had 2 orders of the brush pack. So hey, we'll paint the garage someday. It's all good. Yeah. It's more about the community. It's more about the people. We got more on the way too. I've been thinking about more stuff to make for you, for the community. I think we'll represent some stuff. I'm going to design a last shirt, and literally, I think it's going to be the bomb. But so that's that. So I don't want to take any more time. Skippy's here, of course, and today we have the local news channel famous Brock. So yeah, welcome to Tech Packs Are Due. Tell us about your recent. I'm interested to know, like, show business. Your local TV appearance. That's awesome, man. Like,
yeah. Not my like biggest. I wasn't really. I was really nervous for that, but it was good. It was kind of going on the local news and telling about one of the New Balance classes that PLC has coming. So just kind of highlighting that and trying to get some of the local Detroit people who creatives, interested in the class. So it was good.
That's fun. It's cool that they like trust you to like be the guy.
I don't know why.
They're like, go out there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, oh man, like when I was at Brooks, they like did, and I'm okay to say this is not whatever. They did this, they like only did blurbs like from designers, like quotes. They would like come over, look at something and be like, oh, like what inspired that? And you'd be like, oh, this and this and this. But when I did the Ghost Max, they like wanted to do some like real like footage for it. And so they brought me like into a room, like a dark room, and just shined a light on me and just said like, go for it. And it was just like, they're like, oh, just talk about the shoe, talk about the inspiration, talk about whatever comes to your mind, just like spill it. And so I'm just like throwing out all this stuff. And it was literally when they put it on the internet, it was just like me on a stool, like kind of frumpy. Like they'd slapped a Brooks shirt on me. I was like wearing a hoodie that day, and they were like, no, wear this. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like they just like went down to the apparel and just like snagged something off of thing, and I was like, oh man. And anyway, this is now long winded, but um, every video that they put designers in after that had like this full on production. Like they sat at like a nice table in a nice room with well lit. They had all their stuff out. They had posters of the shoe up and like all this stuff. And like there I am sitting in like
You're the test dummy.
yeah, like a closet. I was in like oh man. But you know what? Lee, the PLM we had on like early for the podcast, he told me once, he's like, that was the most authentic like thing. He's like, I think Brooks has ever like put out. Like, I mean, just put a spotlight on a designer and just put him in a room and like that's I'd say it was okay, but
Yeah.
anyway,
So speaking of news spots, I was on the news one time, local news. This is back in high school.
yeah,
I was doing college class, and then they were like, "Hey, you want to go on the news and speak for the college class?" And I was like, "Okay," not knowing anything about this. And then
oh
they put me in
no,
this little room, and they're like, "Don't look away from the camera." And I keep looking at the camera, and it's like I'm looking away, and then I looked at the final clip after, and then they kind of like started like putting clips over, but every time I looked away,
yeah,
just like random like photos that they had of me,
oh no,
and I was just like, "Damn."
dude. In that cut, I was looking all over the place. I was like, they're like, so tell us about the Ghost Max. I was like, what can I tell you about? It's like, oh man, not
Yep.
camera trained. We're not even camera trained now.
We try
Oh,
our best.
43 episodes in, plus a few. Okay, well, we're gonna kick it over to Brock now. You've probably seen his work on Instagram if you're in the shoe community, and we're happy to have him on. And actually, I don't know much about Brock, so we've talked for like all of 15 minutes at this point. But I'd love to just turn it over to you, Brock. Just again, just like think about we got 500 some people who may or may not listen. But
Hey man, some people were excited for you, so
we're grateful. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're yeah, well when we announced you're coming on, they were like pumped. So just tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you're doing. I think what we really like to do in these intros is like get a bit about like why you're in shoes, like why you're here, because I think this is it is a strangely passionate industry, but I think that's like part of the fun at the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah, let us know. Give us the download.
Cool. Yeah. So my name is Brock Mullen. Currently in Detroit. I work with PLC Detroit. But kind of bringing it back to the beginnings, the origin story. I grew up in like a really rural. Like when I say really rural, like we had one red light in my entire county that I grew up in, and like 600 people in like my town. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so it was super super tiny. But I actually had like a couple. They were kind of like family friends that I looked up to, and they were really into skating. And this was like the mid 2000s. And I remember going into their room, and they just had like wall of like Circas and Fallens and like all those like skate brands from that era. And I just thought that was like really cool. And I was super into sports, and so like kind of just this early internet days, like eventually found my way to, I don't know if you guys remember like Project Bluefoot and like Concept Kicks and some of these like Mesh 01, like some of these really old
yeah.
websites that were, like early on, like kind of the design, and found like people that were interested in footwear design. Now 20 years later, it's like Jason Petrie and Brett Goloff and like guys like that are huge industry names. But they were kind of still learning the ins and outs of what it was like with footwear. So that
Mm.
was like always like a huge inspiration for me, and kind of like started throwing my hat in the ring with like these competitions that they would have. And I was like in high school, and then I went to college. I went to a small state school in Pennsylvania, but I knew I wanted to do footwear. um, and so like every project that I did in college was like related to footwear somehow. Like I remember making like Jordan 1s in like ceramics class, and like trying to
What?
like do like welding and stuff with like figuring out how to make shoes or whatever. So yeah, like always was like my thing. And then and also like because I was from a small town, like I didn't really know that I should go for industrial design or like something more maybe relevant. So I went for like art with graphic design.
Hmm.
But I think like my passion for footwear kind of like I knew where I was going, regardless of what like the degree said.
Yeah.
And so then, I had kind of like during that time, I found out about Pensole. And I actually like, there was a class that Dwayne Edwards has like doing at the FN platform and the Magic Trade Show. So I like flew to Vegas, met him, met a couple of other like Pensole alumni at that time, and then kind of connected with everybody. And then not long after that, I made my first like Pensole class. So I was in three different Pensole classes, 2016, which I think Jake, you might have been in one around that time, right?
Yep.
And then 2017, I did another one with Vibram. And then 2018, there was like a collab class that they did with the PNCA, which I think Owen, from a few episodes ago, was also a part of one of those classes. So I did that and like moved to
Dang.
Portland at the time. So I was in Portland for like 9 months or so, and then Dwayne asked me if I wanted to join the Pensole team, and that was like early 2019, and kind of shifted roles, doing like a lot of consulting and everything from like project management at the time when I first got brought on to like help do consulting to bring some of the student projects to life. But then since then, I've kind of worked on more like brand specific projects with like Zara, Target, Gatorade, Roots, like, et cetera. So it's been a fun ride, and I feel like it's just kind of the beginning, but that's a little bit about where I'm at and what I do.
Dope.
Yeah. Man, that's a lot. Uh, um. Oh man, I've got to go back in your story now. Wait. So Dwayne just asked you like, "Hey, you want to join? Like, what is that? What's that like? Like, where? How
Yeah,
are you
it's just
landing
kind of
that?"
surreal. Yeah, like it was. I don't know if you know Wachaya. She was kind of part of
Yeah.
the managing. So she was managing like the design team at the time, and so like they were looking for somebody to come on and manage the projects that they were kind of working on and developing. So it was crazy too because like I didn't really have any development experience or any like project management experience at the time, but I think like just showing faith in me that like they believed in who I was and my abilities, and they trusted me to grow with them and make mistakes with them, financially. So it was
Yeah.
good to like have somebody have my back and like root for me and just ask me like to join. But I never did an interview and I never did anything. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting way to get
Man.
started.
Do you think there's anything that led to that?
I
Like,
think when I was in the classes, I just showed up as myself. I showed up to like work. I was there every day when Dwayne got there. I was there meeting him at the door. I was always the first one in and like the last one to leave. So I think he just saw that I was going to be that person that was going to like not let anything stop me to figure it out. So he just trusted in that.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. I think a
Ah, man.
big thing for anybody is to have like somebody trust in you, somebody believe in you. You know, so it was great to have somebody with that much
Yeah.
experience be the person for me.
Yeah. I think you just need that in life in general, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
it's nice if it comes from Dwayne. It's like,
Yeah,
but that's pretty great. It's and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like that's one thing we can't really don't know how to capture, in um in this form. It's like we can show work, we can show how you talk about the work, but I don't think I can like fully uh show like how like how
mm-hmm.
you're showing up. That's that's something I feel like I don't want to say you learn on the job because that's the whole point of this podcast is I don't want you to have to learn on the job. Like I want to have the conversation now. But man, like I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember being at Pensole and just being like, some people showed up differently than others. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just, you know, some showed up differently, and some of those people have jobs now, and some of them went on to do other things, and maybe they just weren't interested. I don't know,
Yeah.
but the ones that showed up, like I can totally understand. I know, I just know in the gosh, man, it's for me. It sucks that the Portland office is not like a thing anymore, because now I'm finally here and I could like help or like be a part of it. I'm like, oh man, this is just like I remember the feeling of walking in, and just being like, okay, like I'm where footwear's made now. Like I'm here. Um, yeah, what's Pensole been like for you? I mean, you were there, you were in Portland, and now you went to Detroit. Um, what's that journey been like so far with Dwayne and the I mean the large team now, or at
Yeah.
least bigger than when I was. It was like 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was like ultimately when he came to us.
yeah,
It was like one of these things like, how do I not go and be a part of this like historic journey? Because like nobody's ever reopened an HBCU like, and like that's been done. Like there's been a lot of like firsts that have came through that moving to Detroit. It's been really cool to see like how we're able to grow and like add like different opportunities for different skill levels, or like just kind of meet people where they're at, um, and elevate and continue to like cultivate like this passion that we have. And like some people we're finding like some people don't know anything about it, middle school, high school, but they learn about it. Like that's kind of when I found out about it, when some other people in the industry found out about it. And it's like now they're open to this whole new world of opportunities, and the footwear and apparel industries are so big, and it's just like there's so many opportunities. If you like math, you can be an accountant, but you can work for a sportswear brand, like, and it's like you get to do kind
Mm-hmm.
of cool things and be around things you're interested in. You don't have to go work on like Wall Street or something like that. Or if you're interested in technical stuff, you could be a developer. So it's just there's so many opportunities, and the earlier that we can help people realize what those like opportunities are. Like I would have never went to school for graphic design if I knew that I could have been a footwear designer, and this is the path that I needed. That was like probably the better way to take. Right? It's not necessarily that you can't
mm,
take a different path, but if we can reduce those like hurdles that somebody has to take along the way, and like you know ultimately like what
yeah,
you guys are trying to do here, like give some of the answers to the test. It's
yep,
really like kind of the thing we can do as people who have done it.
Yeah.
yeah. I am a little jealous of the graphic design background. It it's just so versatile. Like like industrial design's cool, and it has helped. Like I have been, but like I don't know if I've ever had a project that like hasn't needed graphic work,
Hmm.
and then I'm like sitting there like, oh, like not my strong suit. uh, but has graphic design helped you? I guess is what I'm trying to say in uh, your footwear
Um,
journey,
Maybe not yet, but maybe there's a day that it will be in handy. Um,
right?
I think a lot of this stuff that I've worked on is like not leaning as much into like the graphics. It's more just like pattern and kind of like I wouldn't say
Mm,
simple, but like it's not graphic heavy. But I think all those elements in terms of like branding and like logos and like that kind of stuff, that's an important aspect of footwear, right? So um, understanding like placement and sizing and that kind of stuff is, I think, a good thing to have some knowledge on.
right. Um, sweet. I don't know, Skippy. Anything else? Like, what we got? We've only talked about his background for 10 minutes ish, 11 minutes.
No,
Yeah.
this is
What
all
do you
good.
got? What do you
This is.
got?
I mean, you said you worked with Gatorade and other brands. Like, do you have a favorite brand that stood out?
Um, I think the project with Target that Dwayne and I did, and a few of other people, like I mentioned with Chaya earlier, like she holds the patent with Dwayne for the project that we did, and that project was like 4+ years in the making because I'll get into it when we get to the design part of it, but um, they had a patent that they created based on actually the class that I was in 2016, and Dwayne was like
Hmm.
spinning wheels afterwards and like trying to figure out this like safe space saving solution for footwear, like an
Mm.
inventory problem, and he created like a technology that allowed the shoe to expand, and so we like kind of shopped that license or that technology around for a little bit. So like being able to have somebody like again kind of champion the idea that we had, and Target like was willing to take it on. It was really fun to like finally bring it to life and kind of see the culmination of a lot of different trial and error because it was more experiential. So yeah, I think that was like a really fun project, and it also went from like 12C youth all the way to size 15 men's, and we did it in 8 molds. So
Wow.
just a huge like undertaking, and it like it impacted a lot of people. Um, so it was cool to like actually make a difference in somebody's day to day life, with some of the messages we got on Instagram and stuff like about how kids wouldn't wear shoes because of sensory issues, and then all of a sudden like this is the shoe that they won't take off. Like that's
Hmm.
Hmm.
impactful as a designer to me. Like you're actually making a difference in somebody's life. They're not just choosing it because it looks good.
Yep.
Right.
That's
Hmm.
dope.
Um, we can't obviously like it's hard to get into um like specifics, but like what's it like being? I mean, I'm guessing you are around Dwayne and E. Scott and all those guys like every day. I guess what's that like? Maybe paint a picture because I know some of our listeners would love to get out to Pencil at some point. Maybe they're doing Sneakerhead Estate. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's going on, but what's it like? What's it like being around them? Is there any nuggets that you've pulled from them that would be good for
Being
the
around the footwear
TPD
legends.
audience? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like I'll just sit down and like listen, and I'll start taking notes, like almost like I'm a student sometimes. And it's just like they're so insightful with how they see the big picture, but able to come across with like different perspectives or different viewpoints, and it's like nobody else would have put those two things together. Nobody else would have. So they're just really good at like, all right, this is the box, and then like what can we push outside that boundary? And I think that's almost like looking at design in a very like scientific way in a sense. Like it's like, oh, they do this toe cap in this way. Well, like what if we did it just 20% different so that it like still has this reference, but it's different, and like it's a different way. Or just even thinking like from a from a bigger picture, not even just a specific part of a shoe or something like that. Like they're just so good at um, just giving these little insights of like, here's where the brand can push it, or here's where like this opportunity is kind of like missing. So I take notes
Mm.
from them all the time, and like it's really just I've really been fortunate to be able to be close to them for almost 7 years.
Right. Um, and like a big thing with Pencil was like our morning meeting. We would always like come in and sit down and man, he would talk about the day, and then one person a day had like kind of just like had the floor for a few minutes to talk about something important to them. Um, or man, I want to say it was like or something they're grateful for, just like to open it up, and I remember that was like just a great time. Um, and even in that one, I just remember I remember pointing out my brother and being like, my brother is awesome. He works hard. He's does it, he's, XYZ does kids. He's been an inspiration to me. He kind of like led the way for our family when he didn't have any leader, he just like basically trudged the path and did his thing. And like no one, I mean, he never got. I mean, I'm sure he was discouraged by some things at some point, but he had a vision for his life, and he just goes. Um, I remember sharing that, and he just like Dwayne just looked at me. He's like, "Well, have you ever told him that?" I was like, oh, like recently, like, uh, you know, it was just one of those things where I was like, how did he like know that? Like, how did like I'm like, man, like,
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of just like see through it, you know, and like, I look back, I'm like, well, I wish my answer was like yes, like, I think Dwayne is interesting that he wants to hear you say it like with your chest, you know, like
Mm,
you're confident, and if you're not, he's gonna like he's gonna feel it and sense it, and you're gonna be uncomfortable, and you're gonna like try to figure out the problem or change or whatever, find the solution. But
mm,
um, yeah, I just remember. I think that's like one of my core memories. Um, with Dwayne was like he just kind of
yeah.
cut
I'm
through the
still trying to
fluff.
bring that. I'm still trying to carry that tradition on and like have the morning, quote, the book, and have somebody else share, something. So I've been trying to do my best because that for me that's like a core memory from being in the Portland Academy days is just sitting as a group and learning from each other too. It's
Yeah,
not all about just uh, that somebody's title, but you can learn so much just from the other people that you don't have anything in common with. Me, I came from a small town. Like I'm with somebody who's from New York City. Like how can we find some commonalities, or what can I learn from you? Open my perspective up a little bit more.
yeah. I mean, you're from a smaller town than I'm from.
I
Like I
think
thought,
you mentioned it on an episode earlier, right? Like it was. I remember trying to do the math. I was like, it's pretty close.
Cut your
yeah.
bro Jake.
Well, not that country. I've been around some pretty small towns. There's a couple out in West Virginia that don't have much. You know, it's like pretty wild. But what's crazy though I love is that it's not defining your like that you are defining your path. You know, it's not like what town you came out of determines your the end of your life. And my dad always talks about like how he came from. Well, it's hard to compare because like I feel like everyone I've talked to who grew up in the 70s, like everyone was poor. Like I don't know like how that like what's going on. I didn't grow up in that time, but it sounds like everyone was having it rough. But you know, yeah, he grew up in a town with that many people, and basically got told no, and you're not going to be anything. And he's like, screw this, I'm out of here, and never look back. So I love that kind of story is great. Before we jump into portfolio, is there anything that inspires you? Like I always ask this question, and I feel like I don't get any not real response, but I don't get anything. Like no one has like a quote that they like hang up on their wall that like they live by, and I'm like, man, I wish someone would just like come through with like some kind of I don't know. I feel like Dwayne had like a thing on the wall in Portland, like by Bruce Lee or something
Oh
like
yeah.
that. But it's like, but I just like no one has one of those things. But if you do, now would be the time. Or if is there anything that's like that you get excited about day to day, keeps you going or keeps you creating or thinking about shoes differently. Yeah, what do you got?
I've been trying to like figure this out in the last little bit, and like now that I have some time under my belt in the industry, it's like trying to really hone in on exactly like what my what my viewpoint of the industry is, and like how do I
Mm.
kind of put my spin on it. And I kind of like, it's still a work in progress, but I can at least give you something that's like kind of this like futurist, like or not, I can't even get the words right, but like the people who study people. So I'm kind of like trying to understand the people of the future versus the past, because as a designer, you have to think like ahead, right? So you're trying to like uncover these pieces of who they are and the keys of like what motivates them or how they interact. So you're kind of like discovering the future in a way. So it's kind of where I'm
Mm.
at, but still kind of rough work in progress. But I think there's something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So now, kind of got your background. I think kind of get where you're going. Let's jump into portfolio and let's check it out. Let's check out your work. Um, excited to see it and hear you talk about it.
Cool.
All right. So Brock is going to break it down, portfolio style. We're gonna check out the work. You know, the beauty, the portfolio is cool, and I think a lot of times you want it to stand on its own, but when you get a chance to talk about it and add your voice to it, it just adds the other level. So I hope you use this, or hope people can reference this if they're looking at Brock and looking to hire him or whatever. If he is in some point trying to venture or whatever, I hope you know. This could also just be good practice and whatever.
Yeah,
But
sure.
anyway, all right, take it away, Brock. Let's hear it. Let's see what we got.
All right, cool. Sounds good. So one thing that I always try to do with my portfolio is like kind of what you were saying, like allow it to speak for me if I'm not here to speak for it. So trying to show like my skills and the what I feel like I'm best at, so that if somebody doesn't know anything about me, they can kind of get a sense of where I'm at. And I kind of mentioned earlier that I really care about improving somebody's day, even if it's 1%. So just this aspect of
Mm.
trying to blend performance with function, and aesthetics, of course, as well. So it's about me. And then I have my resume in here too, because if you guys have ever applied to some jobs, or if you're new to applying to footwear jobs, you don't always get the opportunity to plug in your resume. So I just kind of threw that in there in case
Right.
it wasn't an option. Um, so I mean, they could find it on my website too, but just having it here.
Right.
And then one thing, this is, I guess, my interpretation of a table of contents, kind of giving one thing that I always remember is like giving somebody like easy access to what they're interested in, because you might get somebody who looks at it who is interested in sketching, but somebody else is interested in development. So like I created like this color coded system,
Mm.
showed the projects and like what the focus of those projects was. So if you're interested in Illustrator, you can find those ones that have a more heavy Illustrator, or whatever suits your interest. You should be able to kind of navigate from there. So first project is
Hey, that's nice.
yeah. Sorry, I can go back if you want me to, but yeah, just something different that I don't
No, that's good.
see a lot of people, but I think it's just you never know who's going to see your portfolio and what they're interested in. So just trying to provide something for everybody.
There you
So
go, Skippy. That's
I have a question, but I don't want to ask it now.
yeah. Yeah, keep going. No,
yeah,
keep going.
okay. Cool. We can answer that maybe after the first project here.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first one. I kind of mentioned this was the one that I worked on for a couple years and ultimately like landed at Target. I do have this other kind of call out as well, kind of showing what those design skills would look like. And it was a product that retailed for $49 and for adults and 35 for kids. So just highlighting that, because if anybody's ever worked on a footwear project, like those retail price points are they have some restrictions in terms of what you can do. So I think it was like a pretty
Mm.
good feat to, especially from the adult side, to be able to land at the target market, but also provide something that is a little bit different than what they mostly offer.
Mm.
So kind of utilizing the project outline, I kind of mentioned that the shoe was adaptable to fit your foot. So the technology that was created was called Size SC, and that comes from the shape on the outsole. And so, like, if you think about it, we have project products all around us, or the desks that we sit at, the clothes that we wear, like they adapt to fit us and the individual who's wearing them. So, like footwear, there's been a lot of different attempts at that, but this attempt, like we knew would work. And the UNOS brand we created stands for "You Need One Size," so it allowed us to really not only solve the functional aspect of having a shoe that fits people with left and right foot size differences, or as children grow, obviously they grow through shoes pretty quick. So we were able to solve that, but also from an inventory space, it cut down, excuse me, on the like amount of space that needed to be taken up because we didn't put them in boxes. We actually hung them on a hanger because most of Target's retail space is on hangers. So having them kind of be placed strategically on a hanger versus in a box like was allowed us to fit more in a carton, and more like, so there's a lot of like layers to creating this project other than just the ultimate benefit of it being adaptable for the person who used it.
Hmm.
So, Target has a wide variety of consumers and a wide variety of people from all different backgrounds. So we tried to, just think about these different points of somebody's life. Um, I think you guys probably mentioned it, but like if you're creating kids' shoes, you have to think about the parent because they're ultimately the decision maker too. So there's a little bit of that element in it as well. So it was really like a whole family exercise, thinking all the way from people who are or kids who are just learning how to walk, but then also all the way up to, I think it was a size 15 that we did, was the biggest size. So a wide range of consumers that might be interested.
Hmm.
And so
Nice.
again, kind of talking a little bit here for like inspiration, just looking at other products that adapt, whether it's a suitcase that expands, or the Bowflex dumbbells that have like this adjustment system, just modular kind of adjustable things, but trying to make it simple and just keep it like really clean and you know adaptable for everybody.
Hmm.
So here's kind of where I started with the first sketches. With the tooling, I kind of knew like the parameters of the technology, so that's why you'll see like that cut that's on the back part of the lateral side, and it's on the medial side. It's actually in the front. Um, so created the brand language for Unos. So I kind of just kept with the U shape brand language. So a lot of the lines are very like organic, and tried to pull in a lot of that like just U shape, whether it's the IRO or the toe cap, or whatever, like the heel cup. Just trying to incorporate that in different variations and trying to find that balance of something that is recognizable in a way, but also is a little more like stand out from what else would it be around at Target. So you can see like kind of ones I highlighted that led us into like the next round. Um, Another thing with the technology that I was trying to really elevate the technology was like creating these midsole tooling lines that it almost made it like the expansion of it seem more prominent because of like adding these little relief cuts into the midsole. So you can see on like the first one, it has like kind of this, um, you know, parallel lines that eventually they ripple out and they fade out. So it kind of gives you this sense that like there's something that's happening here. Um, and so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then so just trying to think like this is pretty easy on. So a lot of there's like a booty construction. There's really no separate tongue. We were trying to think about if your foot is different sizes or your foot needs to expand, there needs to be a pretty minimal upper. So there's not really like a lot of overlays to restrict the foot. You're getting, most people think, or a lot of people outside the footwear industry think like your foot only really expands on the bottom, but your foot expands all the way around. So giving space on the instep and everywhere to allow your foot to do its thing while you're going throughout your day. So it's kind of we got some feedback from the external partners that we were with, and kind of lean towards a few different directions. So we ended up sampling a couple different models, but here's the orthographics for one of them, and it was kind of a variation of another one, but just having like a simple pull tab for somebody to grab in on the heel. The laces chose to do just 3 laces on this because allowing like less pressure points. So just trying to think of the user and like how anything that could be an interference if their foot is expanding or needs more space. How do you help create that?
Mm.
And then on the bottom, you can kind of see on this shoe is kind of like an S, and then obviously it'd be mirrored on the other shoe. So that's where the name of the patent or the technology came from. So moving on, like I said, we spent some time with developing this because it was a pretty unique the way of like making an outsole. It's actually 2 pieces that are like bonded together with a stretch membrane in between. So kind of took some time to explore exactly like what the right dimensions were for the gap between the 2 pieces, and how exactly to get those to stretch the right direction and also the right amount. So it took a few trials and errors with this, but kind of just showing the different 3D modeling and stuff that we had worked with to be able to visualize it and then bring it to life.
Did you do the tooling?
I did just the CAD. The team over in Asia did the 3D modeling.
Yeah, but you did like the blueprint work.
The blueprint. Yeah, the CADs initially, and then I revisions as we got further along.
Nice.
And then along the same time we're making refinement to the upper pattern and the butterfly. So just trying to make some minimal adjustments, and you can see the photo in the middle with the 2 outsoles. Like the one gap on the right is like significantly bigger than the one on the left. So just trying to find that balance of like it's going to stretch enough but not be too much. And then just kind of dialing all the little things, like making sure that the toe cap is as slim as I was trying to make it. Have it come back as far around the toe as I wanted it. So just giving a little bit of protection for the toe, but not really having it be a full-on protective toe cap. So a lot of little decisions along the way. I think that's like for me what's always really exciting is like these small little tweaks and how you can kind of incrementally improve something. So that's always like a fun part of the process for me. And then another part I think I mentioned earlier, like being fortunate to work with brands that doing like consulting stuff. Like I got to do everything from creating like the hang tags, the barcodes, and we even like kind of devised like a new sizing system because it was a unisex system and it went. We were trying to expand a shoe. So how do you communicate what's the right size for somebody if they're like kind of on the bigger end of that size? Like how do they still know they fit? So we kind of just made more of like a kind of like a node or an ode to like the Presto back in the day, but we just did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like numeric, and then showed what those measurements and like the standard size would be. So it was a lot of like trial and error too to figure out what that looked like. The packaging itself, you can see I like kind of just found some hangers on Amazon and kind of mocked up like what that would look like to give me a starting point. And then over on the right have like I was actually made out of like a really nice cardboard. So again, saving on like plastic and cutting down on waste. So the scale was printed right on the hanger so that whoever walked up, you would be able to see which one was highlighted to know what size it was. So just a lot of like, small decisions in terms of like creating a whole new brand, a whole new sizing system, and a lot of like just different considerations that we had to make with this project. And then nice. I think that's, so we of course, colorway exploration, colorway design, getting some early ideation, bringing that from a kid's perspective. How do you kind of make it feel similar to the adult one, but maybe a little more fun and energetic. So we did some like fades and gradients and more universal colors too, because considering we were only going to do, I think, like 4 SKUs, like how do you maximize the most out of those 4? And similar with like the adults one, like we wanted to have something that was going to be more like athletic feeling, and then more, kind of like right down the middle with like everyday, and then something that felt a little more like elevated and lifestyle. So just looking at color blocking, how that affects somebody's perception of the shoe, always a huge part of the process, but fun to be able to like do it for the whole spectrum of this project.
Nice.
And then just some fun, like exciting photos from the launch, being able to see it be out at retail, being able to actually go to my local Target. Like it wasn't at every Target, but being able to go to the one that I'm like, it's 10 minutes away from my house, and actually be able to like buy the shoe. That's super fun experience, or like just kind of people watching and seeing how they interacted with it.
Yeah.
And just it was a really fun project.
Buy it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had to do it.
You had to buy your own shoe?
It was for the experience. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have plenty of others. Just needed to buy one.
All right, keep going. I love it. So you bought it.
Cool. And then the other thing I did was like take all the marketing photos too. So in my basement, I had a little setup, and like I was doing all the marketing photos. So like I said, like it was a really cool project because I did everything from the very inception all the way to like actually promoting it and like doing some of the promos. So
dude,
yeah, it was a lot.
Man, I had someone reach out and was like, "Hey, do you know any like product photographers?" And I was like, "I don't even think I know a photographer." Oh, dude, these look great.
Yeah, this is a super fun project.
When I saw these in your portfolio, I was like, "Oh man, they just took the shots from Target, like like we all do, like whatever."
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Okay,
It's definitely special because, like, it's a full circle moment. You started there, and then now you're here. You did everything, marketing. It's really dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any more on this one?
No, that was it. So I know, Isaiah, you mentioned you had a question or a couple questions.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
let's run it back.
Yeah.
Want me to start from the top?
You don't probably have to.
Okay.
My only question was like, when you have that color coding system, are people able to actually click the project they want to see? Like if somebody was interested in 3D, then like can they just click that one that you did, or if like they're interested in your whole process, can they click?
Yeah,
something to think about.
Yeah, no, I don't know if the Canva is that advanced at this point, but that'd be nice if I could figure out how to link it directly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I think you could do that maybe in Adobe Acrobat or whatever. I think this is Acrobat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could definitely try to do that because that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Make it more
you could
like functional.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely put that on your website. I think that's super cool. I haven't seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Go back.
And it's showing your versatility. I think that's what this project is really doing, is like...
Yeah, you definitely touched many points of this project.
I think, standard footwear design, you'd be doing all that, you'd be doing all that, the sketching for it. I'm assuming you're pitching like concepts to Dwayne, and he's like, yes or no. Like,
yeah, just great insights, and just, design director.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like you would get to the final design, finish tooling, package it, and Color
Yeah.
would come in, do their thing. Marketing would come in, do their thing. So showing that you've got like this is a lot stronger project than I originally thought. I thought like, oh, this is cool. Like you did something like kind of helped Dwayne. But like when I read it as like that, like well, in
Mhm.
that you've done the technical side of which is hard, which is I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
tooling blueprints for sure. You're showing that like you know you've got the expanse. But now that I'm seeing that you're doing everything from the you're doing the graphic and you're doing how it hangs, how it looks when it hangs. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, this is deep. This is good stuff. It's like true. You go like true industrial design and
Yeah.
like footwear in the same breath.
No, yeah, this is perfect. And then like you should definitely, I think you should make the 3D render smaller
Hmm.
because like you did the blueprint. You should show that front and center in a way.
Yeah.
Because like it's kind of misleading. Like you put that blueprint forward. I mean, you put the 3D render forward, and it was like, okay, did you make that 3D render? Were you
Right.
part of that
Mm.
process more?
Yeah.
So like I don't know.
Well, when you show blueprints, you gotta be real interesting about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would be removing all measurements, all the stuff like that, and just show like basic 2D. I wouldn't show. I don't even know if I'd show section views. I would just be like lateral,
Mm.
medial, bottom, and just be like, I did that. Like,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
but but I mean, does that page hurt you? No, I think it's like it's a nice collage of the moment
Yeah.
of blueprinting, and if you're trying to do like at a snapshot, if you want to break it out a bit, then I think you're good. Like with what Isaiah's saying, um, like highlight that as a like a core skill. Like I think you probably should make it. I don't know. It's nicely laid out. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's
I don't
like
know. What are you
I don't know.
saying, Isaiah? What are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm saying definitely put because like you see three like if you look at this page, you're like okay, you see 4 3D renders.
Yeah.
Did you make all those 3D renders? But you see the sectionals in the in the background,
Hmm.
and like again, you don't want like you don't have to put sectional, but like the top left, I feel like that should be bigger, and then almost like how you do like your sketch page, like you put that like you did this and then you got here in a way,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
you like I feel like you can get away with just showing one 3D render,
Yeah.
you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would see that as like, oh, what's different in all of these? I don't know. Maybe there's nothing, but
Hmm.
I don't know. In a portfolio where you're just flicking, you're just like going as fast as you can to check out someone's work. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
but
like that you have the rubber RP in there. That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
That's a little Tech Packs Reduce shout out right there. A little rubber RP. Maybe,
Yeah.
dude, that's a shirt. Yeah. Oh, baby. Oh yeah.
It's like one of the nerdiest things
That's
is
funny.
just looking through like a rubber, swatch book and like trying to compare
Oh,
grain sizes. And
oh
there's-
my gosh. Oh man, that's beautiful. Okay. Well, that might be done like tonight. Might do that. So anyway, I don't know. You have anything else on this project, Isaiah? I dig your when you go, your final page is nice. It's actually like what I would hope to see, like the lateral, medial, bottom. Does it have a top view? I don't remember. Where's that page?
or like the ortho page.
It's like the final sketch page, or like your Illustrator
Oh, yeah.
line art. That page.
Let me get back there. It should be. one ahead of this. This guy. Nope.
The iteration
Jump.
page.
Jump.
No, the one that's like that, like final design
Oh,
illustrator looking.
the orthographic.
Yeah.
I think it's loading
Yeah.
here.
I call this page out because I think this is the stuff, right? Like we can't just show up with like Illustrator, or we can't show up with a sketch. We got like it's all got to come here at some point. But I think the way you've done it is clean, and it keeps the emotion, the cleanness of the idea is there. Yeah, pretty tight. This is the stuff that I think people look at when they're, when they're wondering like, hey, can this guy like really not just draw shoes? Can you get them made, and can you get them looking right? Can you get them produced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm good.
Cool. Right.
The one thing I was thinking about, like, I was curious about, was the bottom. And is it like a Strobel bottom, or is it a plate?
The Strobel is actually cut, and then there's like a stretch, mesh between the cuts. So I don't think I have it on this one, but if you see on the final pairs, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But actually, that detail is called out in red. So like we actually use that as a branding mechanism. So every outsole, you'll be able to see that like red, and you'll see it from the side too. So kind of like when some brands will highlight their new technology in like bright green. Similar mindset.
Yeah.
That's nice. It's like a visible technology.
Mm-hmm.
Is Target's like what's going on with these?
So we did one pretty solid run of them. And I think like we're still trying to explore some other opportunities with it for them. But yeah, like it's just a good project. I think they saw some success with it. So
nice.
Yeah, I think the kids aspect of it, people made the connection with it really quickly, because obviously everybody knows kids grow and how fast kids grow. But I think there's a lot more marketing that needs to be done on the adult side, because people don't always know that like their left and right feet are different, or they don't know like how much their foot changes throughout the day, or they don't know just kind of things that, we kind of, as we become adults, like we're become like entrenched in what shoe size we are, right? Like we don't want to sway from like that 10.5 or whatever we are. So like trying to convince an adult was much harder than convincing somebody to buy it for their child.
Yeah. Right. I want to say my mom used to always say like Oprah says that you're supposed to go shoe shopping like in the evening.
Yeah.
Because that's when your feet swell the most.
Yeah, the gravity of the day.
I was like old school. Yeah. Like after you've done your walking, all that stuff, if your feet swell, like that's when you're supposed to go shoe shopping. I'm like, oh my gosh. Think about it all the time.
That's crazy. I never heard of that.
There you go.
You learned something.
Yeah. All right. Let's get the next one. What you got?
Cool. Well, we can dive into this one a little bit. So this was one that I worked on with Gatorade. So they had like an existing collaboration project that they did, and then they kind of asked us to do like the follow-up version for that. So it's for like their frontline workers, people that are in the factories helping make Gatorade, and other sports drinks. But this one was a lot of like, hopefully like I was able to kind of push the envelope in terms of like what a functional work boot should be. So Um, just kind of high level problems that I was trying to think about is, of course, like safety and protection if you're working in an industrial environment, um, flexibility, breathability. A lot of their plants are located in the south, so they're going to work with humidity. So how do you kind of take the traditional work boot and make it more athletic and
Mm.
add some breathability? And of course, like being around fluids, how do you keep it protected? So um, just taking inspiration directly from Gatorade. Obviously, like the chemistry and the science part of Gatorade was kind of interesting to me to draw from because there was a lot of like just geometric shapes that felt very like performance wise. Um, and then obviously the bottles are kind of like an iconic. You'll know it anywhere from 50 feet away. That orange top is just like they just
Yeah.
have such just a visible recognition. So how do you kind of captivate and capture that with their footwear?
Yeah.
And they have really strong design language, for just angular and kind of just athletic feeling. So just incorporating that into the inspiration. So those are like the first round sketches, just really quick and kind of getting their direction on from their team. So had the tooling on this one as well. Or I guess this one was more like baked. So this tooling was an existing bottom that we used. So you can see trying to think about flexibility in the vamp, incorporating some protection, incorporating their branding with like the lightning bolts, um, almost like a foam posit kind of exploration that I was looking at with like this kind of uh, upper that becomes like the protection with this
Mm.
the one here on the middle row on the left. Um, and just having a lot of fun. Like they were really open to like exploring and pushing and seeing what we could do. So have some tongue explorations, just kind of almost making the tongue like the Gatorade, like the cooler, like being able to just have that toggle, but make it functional, make it a pull tab. And then
Mm.
was able to get their feedback on direction. I was trying to incorporate that like chemistry mindset, almost like in a coup rim, PU molded piece, but then have like a breathable piece underneath that. So that's a lot of like these like athletic, like these speed lines were kind of that mentality. Um, so I kind of went further, looking at their hexagon, leaning into that. So created like almost like a um, protective use out of the geometry. Created like the toe cap on the one, like the 3/4 view on the left is trying to inspire the toe cap, like have that ribbed feel that the bottle caps have on it, but use it as like a functional detail. So if somebody's moving a pallet or moving, opening a door or something, like they have some texture and some grip to have on their toe. So ultimately, we just kind of kept refining the ones on the bottom with those like hexagon. It's almost like a lace or like a cage, and the lacing would be behind it, but it has like a mesh underlay there. So just really trying to incorporate like storytelling from Gatorade. I did a lot of. There's 5 different chemical elements that make up Gatorade. So like the eyelet has 5 well, it's not punch holes, but there's 2 punch
Mm.
holes in the 3 other pieces. So just trying to like really simply tell the storytelling behind Gatorade, and then kept. I kind of took this one into AI just to see where I could push it, and like use it as a way to help present the idea too, with like seeing it on somebody's foot at the factory, but pushed it in a few different directions, whether it was like higher or maybe a little more futuristic, um, and then kind of took those out of. Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
All good. Took those back out of Illustrator or out of AI, and then kind of went back over them in Procreate to clean up the lines, make it make a little more sense. So I kept, yeah, just kept grinding away on the process, trying to figure out what would kind of encapsulate all of the elements of protection but breathability, and landed on like a low and a high top version of each concept. So these are kind of Photoshop renderings that we were presenting to their team. Um, and so they went ahead and they wanted to continue with the top one. So we started building out the tech pack on that one. This one was a little more intense than the previous shoe. So really dialing in like the scaling of those hexagon pieces because it's a Q rim molded like PU, and so like having that really be specific where it's doing that gradient so that it allows for protection, but then kind of fades off for more flexibility. Showing the detailing for the factory to help understand the tongue design that I laid out, kind of following the cooler shape, having that like hip in the middle, and then showing some references. Always, I think, a huge help when you have references that can kind of help you explain your idea, explain your thinking behind it. So just trying to provide details on everything as far as I could in terms of like how it all needs to be functional and be made.
Man.
Wait, question: Is
Yeah.
the, is the hexagons in the bottom left? Is that 1-to-1 scale?
Not on. No, I think on the bottom left.
Or in the middle left? Sorry, middle left.
Yeah, the middle. This like this section here where they're orange. It's like not to scale. The measurements are to scale, but the like
Yeah.
actual design itself isn't to scale.
Okay.
Man, that's like my favorite page, I think, of all your portfolio right now.
Yeah, this is a fun page.
There's just
I
so
like.
much to like dig into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this next page a lot too because you get to see like I feel like the layout. So we kind of shifted gears like, away from the hexagons a little bit and went with like more of like a linear graphic, but I think this was like fun
Yep.
to be able to like lay that out and still kind of get like capture that like idea. Um,
Yep.
so you can almost have like with this particular application of the Kurum, like making like a cross section of what each specific one could look like. So you can see like there's an AA section on the heel, the toe has the B, the cross cut section for the C and D. So like really being thoughtful about the measurements of the
Yep.
heights and where things might bump up against each other. Um, how does that all play together? So that was a lot of like detail, but also like a lot of fun just to think about in terms of like how it all plays together, and still kind of balances that like workwear, but also like pushing it in more of like something fun and energetic because it's Gatorade. So um, how do you
Yeah.
kind of balance those two? And then
Nice.
yeah, so these were the final like samples that we had off of them. So a couple rounds of sampling, making some refinements in terms of like what do we include, what do we not include. So, of course, everything changes over time. So, but I think like overall, it kind of
Yeah.
blended both worlds together and was able to have like something that will do the job for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying this is like what they're gonna hand out to their
Yeah.
on the like the factory floor?
Yep.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's cool because it's like not a lot of people get them, but hopefully the ones that they do, like they feel good about it and it makes again like
Yeah.
makes an impact
Yeah.
on your day.
Hey, this could be like end up being like that Apple shoe that like that like from like the like 80s 90s that's like kind
Yeah.
of a hey, I love it, man. I love stuff like this
Yeah.
because like I don't know, whatever it is about exclusivity, like even if it's like this where it's like this is being given to like this people for this time. It's like, man, I want it now. It makes me want it more. Like I'm like, ah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet. Is there anything left on this one, or can
This should be
we
good. Yeah,
turn?
yeah, we can turn the page to the next one.
Um, Skippy, anything you think on the Gatorade project?
No, I love that. I love the page when you're showing all the dimensions and the sections.
Yeah.
For your upper. I think that like that always just blows my mind because like I don't know anything about that, and like that's stuff where I really want to dive in and try to understand it a little bit more.
Yeah. There's it's funny when I see that page and what you said too. You said like, oh, you know how everything changes over time. That's like I could not if I had to make a slogan for footwear, like in general, I think it would probably be like everything changes over time. Like uh
Yeah.
that's like the story of the industry. But no, there's a great comedian who said once like a lot of people think about getting married and they're all like, oh, it's like you're having a good time and everything's good. But like the moment you're married is when you go on your honeymoon and like the plane's about to board and your wife says, I left my passport at home. He's like, boom, you're married. Like before
Yep.
that, you're just having fun, you're dating. But when that moment hits, that's when that's when it really like the I will say the yeah, like the rubber meets the road right there. Which is funny, but like I think when I see that page, if you go back to those like that one that we're talking about, like the dimensional, like even
Yeah.
the one after that too, where you had the pivot, um, like that's footwear. Like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, okay, like he's a footwear designer. Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
it's like that's the page that you see where you know like someone's been through it, like um but man, I love this illustration of the hexagon um that's like sitting off the panel and it's like pitched like almost
Mhm.
like three quarters. I'm like, that's such a good illustration. Like it's just
yeah.
oh man. Like it's just hard to know. It's hard to explain how valuable like these skills are like the ones that like get shoes made and
Yeah.
get things produced. So for those who are watching who wonder, you know, what do I not have or what am I lacking or what do I don't know? When you're in here and you're doing section views of your, your print or your like if you go to the next one, is it the next slide?
Yep.
Think so. The next one, yeah, I mean, you look at the cross. I mean, you getting into the cross section views of the print heights, like, and you're slicing through like every bit of the shoe. Like that's like boom, you're a footwear
Mm-hmm.
designer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think these drawovers are really nice too. Like, you meet. There's different schools of thought on this, and I mean, I've had managers that be like, no, like you don't draw on a picture of a shoe, you get into the shell pattern. Like
Yeah.
don't send them that. Like get into like the pattern, then they can use the pattern. And I'm like, okay, but there are good developers out there in Asia who can take a picture and see what you're thinking and be like, yeah, okay, I can, you
Yeah.
know, I can see the change and how it needs to be tweaked on the pattern for you.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, maybe it makes sense to just do the pattern yourself. But, um, man, this is super cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we haven't shown stuff like this yet on the show, I don't think. So this is good stuff. Put a little ticker on this one, like a
Oh yeah,
little
like yeah.
chapter thing.
This page is like really strong because like yeah, I mean to naked eye, a young designer would be like, okay, how do you build this?
Mhm.
But like
Hmm.
from the industrial design background, like now I'm like looking at this a little bit more and trying to understand like your dimensions. I'm like, okay, I understand how this is wrapping around the shoe, and you have these different millimeters points. So like I kind of understand that a little bit more, but it's still very difficult if you're not
Yeah,
in it.
it doesn't really all come together because a lot of like some of the stuff too sits under like a development. And I don't know how much of the developing you're doing, Brock, but like foam collar thicknesses,
Mhm.
heel counter thickness. Like right now, like this is very like on top, this is like consumer facing, but like there's a whole other thing going on under the hood. Like I don't know, what kind of, if there's material in between, if this is just like a spacer mesh that's like,
Yeah.
maybe there's not a booty, maybe there is, but whatever. It's protective. There's probably some elements. So there's a whole thing happening under the hood, but this is like, what I like about this is like, this is the design. You're showing how you're wanting this built out, and it's nice details. Everything's good. I mean, we're talking offline, and then we can show one more project. How about that?
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, works.
We're talking a little offline, like what's the difference between like Footwear 1, Footwear 2, Senior, which some of the naming conventions have switched around a little bit, and some people there's like lead and expert now, and honestly, I don't know why that's even happening, because I don't know, the whole thing gets me frustrated. Pay designers more. That's all I gotta say. Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, what are we talking about? And if that's an avenue to do that, cool. And if it's an avenue to pay, then less. Screw that whole thing. So, but the thing is yeah, stuff like this, I would hesitate to say, like, because you've done all these, like, when I'm starting to get is, I'm thinking of myself when I was making that move from 1 to 2 to 3. If you're getting into that granular level and you understand how to take something and make it real and usable to the factory, and so you can get something back that's real, that for me, I think, starts to put you in like that 2 range.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, it's like when you're Footwear 1, I think you still just like, I think about my first shoes, and I don't know if they even let me tech pack. Like, they did a little bit, but it wasn't like, intense tech packing. And then, eventually you get into that part. But yeah, seeing that, I mean, I think, thinking about my time, I think that would put me, that would put you in a solid 2. The thing, like we're talking about is like, I don't care about the speed conversation. Like, how fast can you do it? Like, that's fine. I think maybe speed comes with time is the answer, and maybe that's the difference between 1, 2, senior, lead, whatever, expert. But like, I haven't met anyone. I've met like a couple people who are like lightning quick. They're just rip stuff out. And they're obviously senior, they're managers and stuff. And, I don't, some of that, like, I don't even know how they do it. It's like, how do you crank these things out so quickly? But then it's so many times that they can get it done, or they're just working on one project and it's over. So I think that's kind of like how I would measure it, is like, okay, there's the repetition, then you build speed, then you build, like, you have a process, you like wrap through things through that process, and then you elevate, if you will. So I think that's where I'd put it. It's like, that's a solid, that page is convincing that, like, I mean, you could be an easy high tier 1, but then, I don't know, with your level of experience, sitting around Dwayne, working on with him and around him, like,
yeah,
I mean, don't sell yourself short on that. I think that's like a solid 2 realm. But
yeah, apply to it and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good insight. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's good.
Let's see the next one.
All right.
This is it. This is the final.
This is the final. This is like a whole five product collection, so it's kind of a culmination, like a good one to wrap up on, since it's kind of a lot wrapped into one. So another great company that I was fortunate to helped collaborate with was Roots. So they've been in the footwear space since like the early '70s. They created like an iconic tough boot, and so we were trying to help them reintroduce themselves um, to footwear, and now so we're taking some of their heritage and their brand pillars, and how do we kind of leverage that to redesign it for like the current, and then there is another project in my portfolio later, but for the future 50 years. So like kind of these like benchmark time frames. So just diving into their archives, understanding who they are, what they represent. I think that's like one fun thing about like working with different brands is you really get to like um, learn about like the brands and their ethos and like kind of have to dive into those really quickly. So that's always like fun and exciting when you're kind of meeting the new brand you're working with. And so trying to take these pillars and like and figure out what makes sense for them to bring them, kind of from they originally started in '74. So this shoe was for or this collection was for 2024. So like 50th anniversary. So again, like kind of doing a high level consumer research, probably honestly could have like dove in a little bit deeper onto like a specific individual, but because we had like five different boots we were making, it was a little more high level with this, and maybe could have done a secondary zoom in on like each specific boot, but just trying to show who their consumers are. Like everybody who wears Roots is like really like um, hardcore about it. Like they all like seem to really rep the brand and love traveling and love like being part of family. So trying to bring
Mm.
those things in, and just the versatility. Like it's kind of a casual but also like outdoor brand. So how do you have something that's functional but also like a little more elevated for casual too?
Mm.
So we dove into, like I kind of mentioned, like the direction for the past to the future. So looking at like just products that were around in like the mid '70s, and it's funny, like looking at where they're at, like these old grills and camping gear. It's like super robust and heavy and like inefficient. So how do we kind of bring that forward and make it tailored and not having any excess or no frills, just really being like straight to the point.
Mm.
And I didn't really like sketch a whole lot on this project. It was more like refining where they were at. So like looking into the details of like what they did. So actually like the midsole of this, we were trying to make it so like the top line part of it was like an EVA, and then the rubber just would be the outsole versus having the heavier rubber, um, cup sole like they
Hmm.
traditionally have. So just kind of like taking it and like making it subtly updated and just really refining all these like design lines and stitching points and making sure that was like we were paying attention to what they had in the history, but also like just cleaning it up a little bit and bringing some new life to it. So that was their like classic tough boot, and then we had a junction boot, like a Chelsea style boot. So you can see some more just
Mm.
details on the design, like just paying attention to the where the lugs are and like the spacing between them with the 3D. I
Yep.
didn't do this 3D blueprint either, but just made some revisions to it to make sure that it was accurate. This was another like really interesting shoe from their past that actually had like a negative drop. So the heel was lower than the rest of the shoe. It had like a negative 2 millimeter drop. So how do you bring that back, but also like that technology or that the science kind of really isn't proven. So how do you make it kind of fit today's like modern you know person who's interested in this kind of shoe? So we actually made two different
Right.
insole drop-ins, one that was like like neutral, and then one that was positive. So it didn't actually have the drop, the negative drop. It was if you wanted just to be neutral, it had a zero drop, but also I think it was a 3 mil drop. So just yeah, it was kind of a fun silhouette and like just the last and everything that we were working from. With this one, we tried to like carve out more weight from the tooling, so it was like a thick rubber. So like in between each of the outsole grooves, we were like shedding weight from there just to like visually it would kind of look the same, but functionally it would be quite. I don't remember if we like ever weighed the difference between the two, but it was significantly lighter.
Dang.
Um, and then this was another one like the Nordic boot, kind of similar to use the same tooling as the Chelsea boot and the Tough boot, but um, more speed laces. We sourced leather from Portugal for this, so it was a lot of like material development too, making sure that we got material that was gonna hold up, to like the elements and not like crack or anything, and be really premiums. And then
Dang.
with this one too, I kind of worked on some of like the marketing and the history and kind of bringing that back to life. So there's some mock-ups for like the tissue paper that I did, the box, the packaging. It was like embossed and it felt special. The pamphlet that we had in the inside kind of showed the anatomy of like the history of why it became what it was. Like what is a negative drop in a shoe? How do you why does that make sense? And then explaining how you had multiple drop in insoles that you could choose your position.
Yeah.
And then some fun marketing shots that they did. I did not do
Dang.
these ones. Of each one, yeah. So this was kind of cool to see this whole collection come out. I think there might be one more page here. Oh, that was the next one. So yeah, so that was,
Nice.
that was a fun like collection to like have everything being going. Like timeline is all the same, and trying to navigate those like really simple. I say simple, but you guys know like sometimes simple is the most complicated because every millimeter really
Yeah,
makes a difference.
definitely. No, this is a great
Wow.
project, and like it's so subtle. Like of course, you're like changing only like little bits and pieces of their current model, but you see the impact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the thing on the bottom? Like, what is that?
That's
the
like the
like
leaf, right?
the leaf, yeah, the Canadian leaf, yeah,
Man, it's like I don't recognize it because it's got so many more facets and stuff.
yeah.
It's cool. All right, let's go back up a little bit.
Go to the top.
Let's see what we got here. No, I like. Oh man,
Gotta go
uh,
basket.
I like. I think my favorite thing is the negative drop shoe.
I know, yeah, right.
I don't know why. It's just like I just have never heard of that, and it's like got my attention. But then I saw the patterning of it and the cleanness of it, and I thought that's even. I think it looks really nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the people,
Yeah.
I think the people who know about it, like they were really excited about it coming back. It's kind of like a cult following.
Yeah.
And I
Man,
love the
it's
red
nice.
lines. Like, you're thinking through what needs to be changed and doing tape ups on your sample.
Mm-hmm. It's stuff like I don't have any leather projects like this. Like pretty pretty jealous of it a little bit. Go down to the next one. Maybe it's the next one.
And
Next.
for
Yeah,
me, I
one
feel
more.
like,
One more.
There it is. Man.
yeah, it's really good.
It's pretty
Yeah.
clean.
And one thing I think, like, overall for your portfolio, I feel like you should have a hero shot in the
Mm.
beginning. Because it leads the viewer into the project a little bit more.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
always like
I
the.
I do a hero shot.
because like look at like the
I don't
one
know.
in the one in the grass is like
Mhm.
really nice, or you can just like, I don't know, whatever other product shots that you might have
Yeah.
to showcase both, or maybe just one. I don't know.
Wait, what's the first page look like?
It is like there is like
It's
a
just like a
intro.
boot.
I have each
Yeah.
project has like a you know. I'm gonna rotate it now on accident.
Oh,
Did we lose it? Oh man. Oh no.
oh yeah.
Hold
There
on,
we
one
go.
sec, I can get it back.
Like no, like it's very muted. You know, give it the beauty it needs.
Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. What do I think? What do I think? I don't know, because I feel like I see my stuff all the time, and I'm always like, well, I don't know. I put a like a I don't know.
I
I lead
know.
the witness pretty hard. Like I don't give any, I don't give any space to see. Like I don't know. But
Yeah.
like if you don't put it up front and center, then it's
Well,
like
cause
a little bit more intrigue. I think maybe like
is
I don't
it?
know.
Well, it's like yeah,
Uh,
this like I don't hate this image, but I'm just saying like the one in the grass is like it's more enticing. It's like okay,
All right,
yeah,
what are we getting into here?
I got you.
Why are we in the
that's
grass? You know, type of deal.
that's true because I like that because what I'm hearing though is not you can take this however you want. What I'm hearing though is make the pretty things bigger.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Like that image is great, and I feel like we shouldn't have to zoom in to like see it
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
Like um, yeah, that it's like you've got some good things that you could probably take and make into a couple pages, or
yeah,
it's there's a lot happening on one, and it's all good things, but does
yeah.
it need to be aired out a bit?
Yeah.
Um,
What do you guys think as
And then
far? Oh, go
oh
ahead. Go ahead.
sorry.
Sir. You're good. Go ahead.
Um, for the trends in like for this like chart that you have in the bottom, right? I don't think you need it. I
Yeah.
don't think you really need it anywhere.
Like sharing it with you guys, I kind
And
of
like
feel like it's like unnecessary.
yeah, because like one thing that I learned in like design school and like when we were like building portfolios and doing our resumes, they were like, don't put those like little guides saying that you're at level 8 out of 10 or like a 4 out of 10
Hmm.
here. Just like present the work and let the employer decide, what they think you are.
hmm.
Yeah. I
So
Because
mean,
like
yeah.
you yeah,
Perception.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I look at it and I just think, oh, it's a kind of cool graphic, and then I just move on because I just don't read as much.
Yeah.
You know, I just think, oh, he's got cool graphics, and then like, didn't you have them on every project so far?
Yeah. It's not
yeah,
every one, but I think like to Isaiah's point, like it is kind of also like at the beginning with like the breakdown with the color coding. So like maybe it's a little repetitive.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary, and it's like it's not really adding to anything to the project.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Well,
then
you
like,
guys.
sorry, I'm just going off.
Oh, you're good.
No.
I wanted to get your thoughts on like in terms of
Yeah,
like number, like the number of projects that is like the a good balance of being able to share like the
Yeah.
depth of the project, but also like you want to show that you have some you've done it a few times, right? Like what do you guys feel like is the
Yeah.
right balance between that? And everybody has their own opinion,
I'm
but
I don't know.
I'm so I am squarely on. Uh, I am squarely on like website at this point. Like I'm not sending PDFs to anybody. Um, just because I feel like I I don't want to think about how many projects, you
mm,
know? I don't think about that. I just want to put a project out there, and if someone's like wants to see more and wants to see more and wants to see more, like I'm gonna have I'm gonna have 15 projects on my website, and if you want to check them out, like check them out. The average, like I have analytics on my website, and like the average amount of time spent on anything is usually about at maximum 2 minutes on like projects that I go like deep on, like I leave no stone unturned, and there's still like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 40 seconds I'd say is maybe average, is like 45 seconds is probably an engaged viewer. um and I don't know how that compares to anybody else. I don't know what that means, and maybe that means my portfolio is not amazing or something, but I've interviewed with every major brand, so I think it's probably okay. But yeah, so I don't know what to say when it comes to a PDF. I'd say nothing in this so far has been like fatiguing. Like I'm not just like, oh gosh, another one. Like,
Yeah.
And the work is varied enough. I think just the projects are so different in their own right that
Yeah.
it helps itself, because you got a boot, then you got the target one, forget the name, but then and it's like you got the next one. It's I don't know. I don't really worry about it that much, because
I've seen people talk about it where they say like show your best work, like quality over quantity type of deal. I don't know. I don't even know. Like I've cut down some things on my website too that I just felt like maybe it was too old, or like
yeah,
I don't know. It was not necessary anymore. But like I don't know. I feel like a good 6 projects showcases like who you are.
leave it to Skippy to give you a straight up number. That's good.
Great. I mean, I think like
Well, it's true. Like you don't need it all, but like if like you're trying to be like straightforward and say, hey, this is what I can do. Here's my projects. Well, 6 projects. But if you're trying to show a little bit more, like when I got my job that I'm at now, they asked me for more work, and like I already had like I don't know like 9 projects on my website, but they still wanted more because they wanted to see what I do personally instead of like in a team setting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's always. I think that's a good insight for anybody who's looking in the industry. Like, leave them wanting more. If you can leave them wanting more, and then you can like back it up. That's like
yeah.
Always a good thing to have.
What I do like about
also
this,
it's a pain if you got to pull it for it.
yeah. What I'm liking though, and why I'm liking you went with the PDF, is because like I think this is showcasing you a lot better than your website. Strangely, like the work and the layout and like the intent that you put in here is like I think maybe a step above where your website's at. So seeing this, I'm like, oh, like now we're talking. Like here it is. Like this is I don't know, something about this is reading. It has a bit more like polish to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's good. It's a good thing. So in this case, I would say send your PDF out because it's pretty good.
Cool.
6 projects. Man, all this is stuff is just things that I like don't even think about. Like leave people wanting more. I'm like, man.
And like again, I don't know. It's not even necessary. Like you put what you want and like let them figure it out if they skip through it or not.
What I am thinking though is it makes me think if all you get is 45 seconds or something, maybe you get more. I don't know. Um, or 2 minutes or whatever. Like, it makes me think, put the best stuff up front. Like, because
And
I'm,
and I think you're doing that.
yeah,
The first three projects, like Target one was really good, and you went into the Gatorade, and that was really good.
yeah. I think that would be my thought there is make sure that if you only get one shot, make it a good one. Put the thing that you're really feeling and you can really speak to like front and center.
Yeah.
And then and I think that's something I've been told too is you want to surprise somebody and then wrap them in, and then that'll keep them locked in. But I mean, I just don't know. Like, if you pass through the recruiter and the recruiter is passing your stuff on to the hiring manager, like, I mean, chances are the hiring manager is going to actually look at it. Like, footwear is not like, it's not like they get a stack of resumes, but they get filtered out, like, a ton of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you're not, Joe Schmo is not going to show up on the desk of the hiring manager. Usually there's a nice filtering that's happened over. Well, what it is some of these recruiters have been recruiting footwear designers forever. You think of Andrew Kroll at Nike. You think of, Jordan Wright's on Instagram. They've been recruiting for Under Armour for like a ton of years. They know their stuff, and if they see your work and it's not up to snuff, you don't even get to the table, like, because that's what's going on. So for me, it's like showing work you're proud of, and then if you make it to the short list, you've already done everything, and the hiring manager's not going to just throw your work out. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, his first page isn't great. Not going to get to the rest of it. It's like, no, you're gonna scroll the whole thing because you're hiring for a position. So, and this person's made the screening. So, I don't know. That's trying to shine some light onto the hiring process, but it's a little. I don't know. We went to hire for a design director once at Brooks, or an innovation director, something like that. And 100 people applied. We only saw 3. And
Yeah.
and those 3, we carefully considered them because they made it. They made it through those like rounds of eyes that check it out. So. I think you passed that vision test if you were to apply for a designer 1, of course. They'd be like, look at this guy, he's in the running. Designer 2 for sure. I think I would be a little iffy on the senior level, but that's fine, and you'll get that sooner than later. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the work shows like what you're thinking and your process. So it's definitely it's there.
Nice.
And that's the big thing is like it's considered, very nicely considered work. I would hope so when you're sitting next to some giants helping you understand like what it looks like, when you're considering the rounds and you're just considering the almost endless supply of feedback you get, and what you have to accept, not accept, and move on, and you make a choice, and you're good. And these projects look great.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. Anything else? I mean, we're looking good on time.
Yeah. Do you got any more questions for us that you're dying to know?
I think, I don't, maybe you guys have touched on a previous episode, but like, for me, like, I think when I was younger, especially like knowing, we're kind of already in that realm, but like, do you, as somebody who's looked at portfolios, you like bringing in other projects that show in other types of design or other other industries that you've designed for, or is it better to be more footwear centric, or if you're applying for a footwear role, like maybe if you want to touch on that for a second.
From what I've heard, and if you're applying to a role, period, you should have work within that role. So like if you're trying to do footwear, you have footwear. If you have footwear and you're applying for electronics, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
If you're applying if you're in footwear and you're trying to apply for soft goods and you don't have any soft goods in your portfolio, you might be considered, but you're probably not gonna get it.
Yeah.
So definitely like put your if you're trying to apply for footwear, keep the footwear in there, and then you can have those extra things as like a sprinkle of who you are, because that definitely like sets you apart from other hires. But if you're all footwear, definitely have all footwear in there. But if you have other things that inspire your footwear, or like things that help you, think differently about how you build your things, then definitely put it in.
Yeah, I actually just like recently pulled out. I had like not a big section, but on my website there's a pretty good section of like automotive photography. We're always trying to refine and update our portfolio. So that was something I like kind of took out. That was at the tail end of the portfolio, but maybe I'll consider it back in just to mix it up.
I'll put it in because like it shows that you you've done the product photography and you show it there, but like it's another thing that you're excited about. You like automotive, so that's who you are.
Yeah,
and people like seeing who you are, because like you go in an interview and you're like, what do you like? Who are you? What do you like? Explain yourself, type of deal.
Yeah. I remember hearing a story about somebody got hired because they had like the same type of dog as like the person they were interviewing. So like they immediately just like, clicked.
Yeah, people want,
thing,
Yeah, people want to work with people that they like.
Yeah.
Like they're not with you because like again you're your coworker at this point,
right?
And you're working to solve the same goal, but I don't know, if you're a hothead and you're like, I'm an ego guy, I could do this, then they're not going to really want to be working with you.
Yeah.
Like on my portfolio, I put like I bake and I like playing video games. Maybe somebody will read that and be like, "Oh, this guy plays video games. What does he play? Let's figure him out." I don't know.
What do you play?
All I play recently is 2K and I play Fortnite.
Oh, dang. Fortnite's still going?
It is still going.
Wow.
I heard they might do a Fortnite 2 or something. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, wow.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I think it'd be fun. I think it's... What I like is that you're sprinkling it in. Like... I think those product photography shots, that's wild. I took a photography class and I tried to get my skills okay, like good enough that I could take my own shots for my portfolio. And it's good. Like it has helped like a ton. Like it's helped do this show. Like I understand some lighting features and stuff. Like of course I'm not one of the best of the best and all that stuff, but I think it's great. It's a skill, and it's not a unusable. And it shows creativity. I mean, it's a good thing. It's not like what would something be? It's not like you're showing like you're whittling or like like you're knitting sweaters or I don't know. Like I don't know what skill would be like you're not showing that you're playing Catan on Friday, with I'm just like but it's a good one. I mean, and some people do like in their website or whatever, they'll put a whole like page just full of photography.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
couple friends that they've bought old 35 millimeter cameras, just gone around shooting film and developing it, and it's a fun thing for them. And it is not, it's tangential to
Right.
what you do. It definitely
yeah.
um yeah, it's a style. I was telling Skippy this today. In my portfolio, like, I don't want at any point in my portfolio to someone to look at it and be like, that guy doesn't have good taste. I don't want anything anywhere near it to signify that, like, I have not gotten it figured it out. Like, so if it looks like you got it all figured out, then sure. Like, keep it up. And man, yeah, I think that's the answer, is as long as it looks figured out and good and it makes some sense, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should it be part of this PDF? Maybe it's a page at the end where you say thank you, or maybe it's, you know,
I feel like it wouldn't be in the PDF, but like if you're on your website,
The
then
website. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, but yeah, like I always think of a nice closing page, or I used to make full, I would take super creative leave on like the cover, and
Mhm.
just try to make a story there, and then try to make a story at the end. Um,
yeah,
I tried to make my portfolio like a magazine, like before, where I actually tried, I printed small ones out for my senior show, so you could just like flip little flip books of my portfolio. So it was like, it just depends. But I think showing personality is a major
Yeah.
thing. A lot of that comes out in interviews, but
yeah.
all right. Well, that's 2 hours now, fellas. We hit it. I don't know. I think it's pretty good, unless you guys are feeling something else. The sun. That would be fun when people watch the sun just like go up the garage. Oh man. I don't know, Brock. Are you good? Are you feeling it?
Yeah. No, I feel pretty good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We
It's fun.
definitely enjoyed having you on, because this is another great portfolio for people to check out, learn, hear you talk about it. I think that's all good. Um,
Hmm.
and then you hear Skippy rip you down, take you down a peg or two.
What? I give good insight.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great
But
insight. I think like
sweet.
that, that's always where everybody like having other outside opinions too, like is always super helpful. So that's you guys are doing that and like providing that for people, which is the whole point of it, right? Like just giving people information that they're not gonna be able to Google, or maybe
Yeah.
their mom or dad isn't the best person to ask because
Yeah.
I
not
mean,
getting straight.
I'm always on Instagram and Behance, just looking at people's portfolios to enhance my work too.
Mm-hmm.
I constantly
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
and it's just like to keep it modern, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't look at anybody's stuff. I just like,
No, I'm always looking, and I'm just like,
oh,
oh, that element there could be like somehow implemented in my work, and or that one
nice.
there, and that's honestly how I've been doing it.
Mm.
That's cool. Ah,
Huh. Hey, Jake, you don't have to do it.
no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think that's like, because I mean, it's hard to know now, because now I'm at the point where I just don't even, I'm like, oh, that looks good. Like, sure. Or,
Yeah,
and I probably have stolen elements, but I don't know. A lot of it's like, I just want to put this thing up really fast. This looks fine.
yeah,
Sketch, nothing around it. off into the world, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Oof. All right.
Stop sharing.
I'm calling it on that. That looks good. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, appreciate you, Brock, for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
And braving
beautiful.
our audience.
It was beautiful work.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
it's
we
been
will
nice.
catch you guys next time for the next episode of Tech Bikes Are Due, the only footwear podcast ever.
Check the shop.